Are you looking for great food and good, clean, wholesome entertainment on your next trip to the Smokies? If so, then look no further than English Mountain Trout Farm, where you hook 'em and we cook 'em, located in Sevierville, Tennessee, in the heart of the Smokies. Whether you are enjoying your freshly caught rainbow trout in the quaint and cozy dining room, one of the outdoor picnic tables located next to the trout pond, you will find the food tasty and the atmosphere at English Mountain Trout Farm warm and inviting. English Mountain Trout Farm owner and operator Charlie and Angie Ford take great pride in making sure your experience at English Mountain Trout Farm is one for the record books. Come spend some time with Charlie and Angie and catch a few rainbow trout in their pond, then kick back and relax while they cook them up for you. The entire setting creates a very unique and relaxing dining experience. The trout pond is constantly fed by a freshwater creek, creating the perfect environment for raising big, strong trout that are as tasty as it gets. So pack up the whole family and come on in for a visit and a great time while you enjoy a wonderful meal. English Mountain Trout Farm is open 6 days a week for breakfast, lunch, and supper. English Mountain Trout Farm and Grill. You hook 'em, we cook 'em.
How cool was that clip? You actually get to go and go have a great dinner, but before you go have dinner, you get to go catch a fish. I can't think. Two of my favorite things is eating, cooking, and getting to go fish, which is what I do for a living. And I can't believe that I never thought about combining all three of them things into one thing. But Cody and Charlie from English Mountain Trout Farm, they certainly did, and that place looks like it's a blast.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us on. We're excited. We're excited to chat with you today.
Awesome. Looks like you're right there on the shores of the trout pond. You took me for a little tour a minute ago before we came back on here, and there's tons of trout swimming around there. And you guys, what an operation! You get to go there, go catch a trout. They'll cook it up. You eat it. You have a great meal all in one place.
You summarized it just about right. It's basically a good time for all. The fish are always biting. We try to make it a fun-filled activity for the kids and for everybody that comes and visits, and provide them also with a good quality meal when they're done.
Yeah, that's great. Now, how long have you guys been there, and who came up with the idea?
Well, this little place has been around since the 60s. So the idea was not mine, although I think it was pretty ingenious to incorporate the fact that you could actually, catch your fish and then have it cleaned and cooked, because we all know that seafood and fish is never better than when it's freshly caught and freshly cooked.
Right.
So I think it was a great idea. And even the name English Mountain Trout Farm has been with this little establishment since its inception back in the 60s. So we just picked up with what platform was here. We've modified it a little bit for modern day and for our way of doing business, and incorporated some other things in with it, like the sales to local restaurants and things like that help the business be viable. And keep it going, so that it's not just a seasonal thing.
Sure. So, okay. So for somebody who's never been there before, and I haven't yet, but I promise you I'm going to get there soon.
All right.
I come in, get a fishing pole, catch my trout. They'll take that trout and then they bring it in, cook it, clean it, cook it, and then I get to eat it, basically. How long does that whole process take? And I'm sure you guys got this down to a science that it's pretty streamlined, it looks like.
We teasingly tell people we've got a button behind the counter. If the fish don't cooperate, we can roll it right along if we need to. But that being said, the whole thing, if you were to come with your family, say have a couple kids, or just with your wife and fish and eat, you can be in and out probably, if you wanted to be in and out in an hour. that's probably a pretty practical time frame. If you wanted to push it, you could be out quicker than that if you wanted to. Or, we suggest that you linger and have fun and enjoy all the place has to offer.
Yeah, get to watch all the people catching fish.
That's right. That's part of the fun of it for sure.
Yeah.
We offer gem mining on the creek bank, which is another thing that we do here as well that is really popular with the kids. It's a little bit of a filler for when the fish are being cleaned and being cooked and prepared for the table. Gives them a little something extra to do, and it's more authentic because it's right here in a natural setting, right on the creek bank.
That's awesome. And I did see where so the creek runs right through the property and it flows through that pond. So that water is always getting aerated. I'm sure it's always cool and the trout love it, which means that they always usually bite.
Yeah, there's a fresh bore of water about 14 inches that come right off of the creek and through the middle of the pond, and then we goes back into the creek on the other end. So it's flow through continually. The water's always fresh, always clean, always cold. The caverns are right up the road from us, so we're within a quarter of a mile of the source of the water coming right out of the ground.
Oh, that's really cool. And I'm sure you figured out a way to keep the trout in the pond, unless you catch them and remove them so that they don't go swim away.
Oh yeah, we've got them corralled, so to speak. It is a farm, so we got our trout corralled here for your enjoyment and for the process of fishing and catching and all that. So we've got that worked out pretty well. They're always in abundance.
Right. What's the bait of choice for catching a trout right now?
The bait of choice? Well, I'm going to tell you my story, and I'm going to stick to it, okay? The corn is the best bait. And I teasingly tell the little ones that if you go fishing and you have a bad day of fishing, you can always have some lunch with the bait.
That's right.
So corn provides a good color, and the fish like the color that the corn is, the yellow color, and so they go to that color, and it usually works out very well for us. But you can use a multitude of baits.
Yeah, cool. Now, so let's say that, and I'm asking this because I know of another operation that's way up north, but of course they're not in existence anymore. But years ago they had a pond where you can actually, they stocked the pond. You go there and catch them. You couldn't. They wouldn't cook them and serve them to you there, but you could take them home. Do you have, like if somebody wanted to come and catch a couple of extra trout, like a pay per pound deal or something like that, where they keep a couple?
Sure, absolutely. Several ways of doing the fishing here and still getting the fishing in. You can come and catch your own trout and we'll clean it for you to go. You can come catch your own trout and we'll just weigh them and package them for you, and you can clean them when you get back to wherever you're going. You can come and have them cleaned and we'll cook them for you several different ways. And we even have a program set up for those that just want to catch a couple but don't really want to eat them or take them, that will harvest the fish and they donate them.
Oh, that's awesome. So you've got multiple different ways. That's awesome.
Yeah, sure. So we try to accommodate every option that we can think of that will allow you to be able to still fish if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. And what's like the average size of the trout that you're catching in there?
About 1.25 pounds, 1.5 pounds. But we have in the summer months when we're extremely busy, we'll have 4 or 5 pound trout in there, and I've got requests for up to 8-pound trout that I've provided for customers.
Who's eating an 8-pound trout?
Nobody. It's a mounter. Mount that rascal, put him on the wall.
Yeah, I need 2 plates for that thing, I think.
Yeah, we offer some help when you catch one that large. If you need us, we provide a service with a good clean fork. I'll come sit right beside of you, and we'll make it go away, and nobody knows the difference.
Yeah. So is there anything else on the menu, or is it strictly just trout?
Oh yeah, we have a variety of food options, and most of it's homemade stuff right from the trout farm, but we have sides that go with the fish. We'll have basic sides like French fries, coleslaw, mac and cheese, green beans. What else we got, Cody? Applesauce, homemade applesauce. And then we've got we smoke about 300 pieces of fish a week, and we pull it down and make smoked trout cakes out of it. So that's an appetizer.
Yeah.
We have beer battered onion rings. We have smoked trout dip all summer long, where we pull that smoked trout down and make the dip or spread out of it. And we can't keep that. It sells as fast as we can make it.
That's really cool. And one other thing I got, which I heard kind of through the grapevine, that you have something. In fact, you've got it there with you. And I was told to ask you about the cutting board that you've got.
Yeah, well, when we first started this, it didn't come with an instruction manual, nor did it come with any way to really know what was coming upon us, meaning that when we first started this, we didn't have the sales to local restaurants to sell fish to, and that kind of crept up on us after about a year or two. But it was the perfect thing because it allows us to then be not just seasonal but year round, and gives us something to do here from the trout farm that we can keep our help and produce for, you know, the local restaurants their fresh cut rainbow trout as well. So the sheer enormity of cutting thousands of fish a week, which is what we do. You have to have a way to be efficient at it and to cut those fish. So, you know, I went to bed several nights in a row having ideas and dreams and thoughts about how to put together a way that we could be efficient. So I came up with this little cutting board that keeps us going, allows us to, from the point of the trout laying on the table in the cut house, about 20 seconds it's finished, completely bone cutted and gutted, complete. So butterfly cut from start to finish is about a 20-second deal with us on this board.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and we're hoping that we can share that with our customers. And the board is good. It's just I call it an operating table for fish, for cleaning. You can take this thing and cut a bass on it. You can cut trout on it, catfish on it, any type of fish. But basically, it's just a device or a way to hold the fish while you can, work on it and do what you need to do to the fish to clean it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And think about the crappie guys too.
The what?
The guys that are crappie fishing.
Oh yeah, crappie fishing is a big time thing around here. Being on the lake over there, they got some big deep holes and got those crappie in them, and this board would work perfectly for that.
Awesome. And you are going to be at the East Tennessee Fishing Show here coming up in January.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that very much.
And here's the board, Mike, in case you want to kind of just see it here. And I'm sure mostly everybody that watches this will probably be there at the fishing show and can stop by and grab one from us. But we also have them available on our website, which is EnglishMountainTroutFarm.net. So you can go check them out on there as well.
Awesome. And I'll have producer Ray post that up in the comment section too with a link, and he can get right to you guys, EnglishMountainTroutFarm.net. What are your hours of operation? So in case people want to come down there and get hint, I'm coming down soon. I'm going to bring Brandy down there. We're going to catch a trout and guys cook them up.
I will. You come on down. We'll fix you up for sure. But right now our hours are 11 to 6, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. They will change after the first week of January. We'll be temporarily shut down for about a month and a half for food processing and preparation for the upcoming year. So a lot of our food product that we do here from the trout farm has to be prepared commercially, and we have to have access to our kitchen commercially to be able to get ready for the upcoming season or year that we're doing. So we take that 2 months and put together our fresh apple pies, our dip, our jams. We do a roasted raspberry chipotle, peach chipotle jam, all of which we sell to local restaurants and to folks that come into the trout farm. And you can get samples of that here at the trout farm. And we will be bringing most all of our homemade food product line to the fishing show for sampling as well as purchasing, if people would like to purchase it, our smoked trout dip, our trout cakes, stuff like that. So you be sure to come by the booth there and check that out.
I will. It's a long show and I get hungry.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that is so awesome. I can't wait to visit with you guys in person, and really appreciate you being here on the Outdoor Showcase with us.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us too, and we look forward to seeing y'all in person down at the fishing show. Look forward to that. I know it's going to be a big deal and a big event for everybody. We hope to bring a little bit to the game and offer, you know, your customers, our potential customers, you know, an exciting look at what we do here and an opportunity that if in the area they can come by, and if not in the area, as Cody mentioned earlier, they can go on our website, and most of our products now we're doing a shipping order that we can send it right to your back door.
Awesome. That's so great. Can't think of a better operation. That is great. Go there, catch a fish, have some dinner too, all in one place. English
Yeah.
Mountain Trout Farm. Can't wait to see you guys
I've
here.
even got a few jokes I can tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said I've even got a few jokes I can tell you when you come to eat your trout. So I don't let you rest while you're here. We keep you active.
And some entertainment.
That's right.
Thanks so much, guys. Cody and Charlie, English Mountain Trout Farm, for being with us.
Hey,
Thanks, Mike.
we appreciate it, Mike. Thank you very much.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Catch the best in outdoor products every month on the Outdoor Showcase. Hosts Sheila Bunch and Mike Delvisco bring you new, unique, and awesome products for the outdoors, featuring guests and segments. Whether you fish, boat, camp, or just love the outdoors, there's always something for everyone. We are live the last Thursday of every month, available on Fire TV and Roku. For more info or to have your products showcased, visit theoutdoorshowcase.com. We'll see you in the great outdoors.
Hey, it's Mike Delvisco back with you here. Another great episode of the Outdoor Showcase, and we are back. Seems like these months are just flying by. We are getting really close to showtime at the East Tennessee Fishing Show, coming up first in January, and then the Alabama Fishing Expo in March. And we are continuing to highlight different vendors and tackle companies and custom lure manufacturers and everything that makes the East Tennessee Fishing Show great. We are highlighting them here on the Outdoor Showcase. And don't forget that if you've got an Amazon or a Roku device, you can go ahead and download that Outdoor Showcase channel right onto your device and watch it 24/7. This episode will appear shortly after it airs on social media, and you can click on it and watch every single episode from day one to present and 24/7 as long as you want to watch the Outdoor Showcase. So without any further ado, we have Jeff from Trollgata, who has some extremely cool baits that I can't wait for you guys to see.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for the great introduction. Super excited to be part of both the Eastern Tennessee show and the upcoming Alabama show. Pleasure to be on here with you.
Awesome. So one of the things that I'm excited about, one of the things actually I'm excited about your lures, but I really want to understand how you got the name Trollgata.
Yeah. So big part of my company is about telling stories. Trollgata is actually some folklore from Sweden, where they had huge pike out there, muskies, and the legends say they would grow so big they would start growing trees out of their head. And I thought that was a really cool story that we could tell, especially since I'm making wooden lures. Not a lot of guys out there are really doing that anymore, right. Especially made in America in small batches. So I thought it was a cool tie into the storytelling and with the trees and the wood and these big freshwater predator fish we're all so excited to go out and catch. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yes, let's see. I've got one that really intrigues me here is the slick nose goblin.
Yeah,
it's a really cool looking bait.
Thank you. Yeah. As I was kind of starting out, I was pulling a lot of inspiration from, like I said, the lures of the past. When I was growing up as a kid, my grandfather had a bait room down in the basement, and every time we'd go over there as kids, he would pull out a new lure, and a lot of these were even old back then. We're talking about lures from the 30s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. So,
right.
And he would give them to us, and we'd go out and we'd use them. and I just thought they were always so iconic looking, the glass eyes and the metal lips. And I just wanted to try and bring something like that back. Everything has gone overseas. It's injection molded plastic. And there's just something nostalgic and powerful about making something here in America out of wood, metal, and glass. So
Yeah, that's really cool.
thank you. Yeah.
The last company that I actually remember that made anything out of wood was the old Radke. He was from up in Illinois, and he made trolling lures for pike and muskie. And you may have heard of him. You may not have heard that. The only place you ever saw this guy was at a couple of trade shows. Each year he'd have his big metal tub out, and he'd be running the bait along the tub, and you'd see it swimming along. And he'd have his same spiel. I think he could do it in his sleep, but I remember seeing him for years and years, and they were wooden plugs.
And that's a cool thing. There was, you look back at American history as far as lure manufacturers, and before everything kind of got so big and just moved overseas, there was a bunch of these little local regional bait makers, and they did it for the passion of going out there and making these lures and catching these fish. And I want to start bringing some of that home, some of that back here, some of that history of what we used to do here, and get people excited about it again. We're in such a throwaway culture nowadays. It's nice to have something that you could feel proud of, pass it along to your kids, something that's going to last. It's not something you just buy once and throw it away. It's something that you feel good about, or even display.
50 years ago, 50 years from now, they may be pulling one of your baits out of their tackle box and go away.
Man, I sure hope so. That'd be the biggest honor I could ever think.
Yeah. So let's see if you.
Yeah. So I'll start off, since you were talking about the goblin here. This is one of the first lures that I kind of started out making. It's kind of got that gar-like pattern. As you can see, structural metal lip. It's not tunable, but it's made to dive about 2 to 4 feet down and just kind of wiggle back and forth. This is a bluegill pattern, really inspired by the old time, lure patterns that you would have seen back in the 50s. I also use authentic real glass eyes like they used to too. So I turn all the bodies on the lathe. Everything starts out as a block of wood like this. There's honestly probably about 50 processes to get to this point, but quite a few, lots of sanding, lots of sealing, painting. I hand make all the eye ties, all the lips. This is all my packaging, all of my raw materials I try and source out of the U.S. The only thing that I'm not currently sourcing out of the U.S. is the hooks, and I use Japanese owner hooks because they're just such a good quality. So yeah, that's a stick nose goblin, and this comes in a as a plug, a single plug, and I also have an articulated version that will be available at both the Tennessee and Alabama show in a variety of different colors. So
super cool. What's the overall length of that bait?
Overall length of the goblin, I believe, is 4.5 inches.
Okay. So even though you're, maybe attracting pike or muskie, bass guys can fish with those as well.
Oh yeah. A lot of my lures are going to be, you could use to target all the big freshwater predator fish. Smallies, largemouth, striper, all of that stuff. Big lures catch big fish. Our grandfathers used to catch big fish on these things, and I've caught quite a few big bass on these as well. So it's not just a musky lure. It's not just a pike lure. These are great for smallmouth, largemouth, striper, all up and down the line.
Awesome.
So, and, I just kind of want to show and shout out, we got these really cool old school boxes made like they used to. So you could display them and feel good about, doing that. And these are printed in America too. So, just something to kind of add to that nostalgic feel that, people look for when they're doing something like this,
That's cool.
Should I jump onto another lure?
Sure, go right ahead.
Excellent. So next up is my square nose crankle. So this is a fixed square lip crankbait. This one's articulated, and this is in I believe my gold striped shad pattern. So a lot of the guys are using these for striper and everything like that. But depending on, guys troll with these too, but depending on the speed that you're pulling these things in, they could dive 10, 15 feet, or you could kind of play them higher in the water column. So you could there's quite a bit. All of these rest at, float at rest and then dive on retrieve. So yeah. And like I said on this one, I do have red glass eyes. I thought this one looked great in that. Very old school plug style pattern. My little lure mark is actually on the inside to show that it's a Troll Gata lure. But yeah, I mean, this is one that I've worked on a lot over the past year, and I've seen really great success, especially with smallies over the summer and spring, in the local waters around Eastern Tennessee. I'm in Western North Carolina,
Okay.
so not too far from
French Broad and all that stuff coming down through there, like it flows into Douglas where I live. And
oh yeah. And I haven't got a chance to fish Douglas a whole lot, but I mean, obviously great fishing waters. I hear the Bassmasters was there last year. So, so that's the crankle. And then just jumping on to like the thing that I've been really excited about. And that is my topwater, my topwater frog. So my grandfather gave me a pawpaw water frog from way back in the day. And I always love the look and the feel of that lure. There's nothing better than catching a bass top water and just seeing, fish explode out and grab these lures and just kind of explode out of the water. And no one was really doing anything like this anymore. I got the double articulating legs in the back here and then the belly hook. This thing is just obnoxious on the top water. Once you kind of get this thing going, these back legs just click together, really loud action. You could obviously bend this lip down to 90 to make it just go wild, or bend the lip up a little bit to get, 6 inches under the water if you're trying to target that. But again, very old style type of lure. I'm using glass eyes. All these spots I hand paint on there. So it's a lot of dedication and love to make something like this, but it's just a phenomenal, fun lure to fish,
Yeah.
And
how long does it take to make one?
Oh my gosh. I do them in batches, so that's a little hard to tell, but they do take quite a bit of time. I mean, this, especially just hand painting all of this. I mean, the legs are turned on the lathe, and then the whole body is hand carved. I actually have, so every, like I was showing, everything starts out as a block of wood like this. Then I cut it down into a free form like this on the bandsaw. And then I start the carving process from there. So kind of smoothing out the edges, drilling the hole in the eyes. actually carving out the lip for the slot or the lip slot, and then just hand sanding all of this. I eventually placed the belly weights to keep everything kind of floating as it should. And then, seal these things a million times, paint them, get all the hardware put on them, and, sealed again. So it's a labor of love, that's for sure.
So is this going to be your first time at the East Tennessee show?
It is, and I'm very excited.
You're going to need to get building some of these things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited. That's actually what I've been spending a majority of my time on, leading up to shows. I mean, I have quite a few shows. As we all know, the big expos all come in spring, and I'm super excited to be part of the Tennessee show and both the Alabama show. First time for that show, so I think it's a really great opportunity for the folks down in Alabama to kind of see what we're doing, since apparently they haven't had a fishing show out there in a long time. So
no, it's going to be a great venue. I'm looking forward to it. Knew that was going to happen. So I'm going to try to edit that. I need to remember 1644. So we'll do trying to figure out how to pick up here. We left off. So we were talking I'll just kind of lead you right back into that question.
Sure.
So is this going to be your first time at the East Tennessee Fishing Show?
Yeah, it is. And I'm actually super excited to be a part of it. I know you guys have been putting on a great show for many years over there, and I'm starting a new show in Alabama. So I'm also going to be a part of that, and really excited to get to see all the folks out there in Alabama and get them some great wooden fishing lures for fishing those waters out there. So
yeah, that's going to be an awesome event. I'm really looking forward to that. And, for the longest time, Alabama really needed a fishing show. And I can't wait for us to, take Sheila's concept of the East Tennessee Fishing Show, that probably the greatest fishing show, pure fishing show for custom tackle manufacturers, and you fit right in. It's going to be, I think you're going to do real well. People are going to be really receptive of your baits, and should be a great time. You're going to do real well. If people want to find out more before then, how do they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously leading into the holiday time, and I've been nonstop making baits for the upcoming shows, but you could reach me at trollgata.com. That's just www.trollgata.com. You could see the text down at the below there. I'm sure they'll throw a link up there for you.
We'll have producer Ray put it in the comments section like he does everything else, so that they can just click and find you and check out all your stuff. Your website's really cool as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I also have a Facebook profile, and then I'm on Instagram as well. So you could find me there. You could also find me at trollgata@gmail.com if you wanted to reach out, if you needed anything prior to the upcoming shows. So
awesome. Sounds good. Anything else? We're getting ready for a quick commercial break, but
yeah, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, everybody out there. Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate your time today. Very much looking forward to meeting you all out at the Tennessee and the Alabama show, and hope to see you guys out there and tell you a little bit more about what I'm doing and go from there.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Jeff. Great story, great baits. I like to see more of that. We need to bring back, I'm a big history buff with fishing. I've been around it for over 40 years, so I can relate to a lot of things you're saying. It's a great thing you're doing.
Thank you. Trying to keep that old American tradition alive. So appreciate that.
Go. All right.
We'll
be right back. Outdoor Showcase, right back after these commercial words.
Available now. Go check them out, pulsefishlures.com or your nearest retailer.
Hey, Mike Delvisco back with you here, the Outdoor Showcase, and highlighting another awesome guest that's going to be with us at the East Tennessee Fishing Show coming up. I always love chatting with this guy. He's got tons of information. And just a little quick housekeeping note. If you guys want to watch any of the past Outdoor Showcase episodes and you've got Amazon or Roku, you can go ahead and download our app either on the Amazon device or the Roku device. Watch every single episode from day one right up through present, including this episode, which will actually be on the app within the next 24 hours. Click on them, watch them 24/7, 7 days a week. You got Amazon, you got Roku, you got the Outdoor Showcase. So we got Scott from Spool High Speed Bearings. One of my favorite guys to chat with. He's got one of the most innovative things in the fishing industry that I think I've ever seen. I've talked to him quite a bit. We see him at all the shows, but we got him right here in the Outdoor Showcase. Scott, how's it going, buddy?
Doing good, brother. Mike, it's a pleasure to be on the Outdoor Showcase with you. We always have fun doing these little segments.
We sure do. And I know, we chatted a little bit, and you've got some. I'm not going to let everything out of the bag right now. We'll wait till the end of the segment for that. But you've got some real new, exciting stuff. But I want to talk about something that I think every single angler can use, and that's, one of your bearing kits.
Spool High Speed Bearings, we've been around a long time now. We're selling in 18 different countries. This year, the website has just gone absolutely bat crazy. It's been a very busy year for us. We thank everybody for all that business they've been giving us. But, we try to do something different in this market with bearings than any competitor. And we've actually become our own competitor, so to speak, because we have so many different lines of bearings now. And, we've got Japanese bearings. Now, keep in mind, every bearing we got, Mike, is ceramic. So if anybody ever asks that question, every bearing we sell is ceramic. So even though we have 4 different levels, it starts at the SS, it goes to the XS, the XP, and then the XCR Ultra. That XCR Ultra, I'm going to show you this thing up close. It's an absolutely amazing bearing. The XCR Ultra has what's called a peak retainer, okay? That retainer, the cage in there that holds these balls, is polyether ether ketone. It's a space-age polymer, Mike. Melting point of about 800 degrees. That just kind of tells you how space-age it is. Not that you'll ever experience that temperature in real. At least I hope not.
Yeah.
But it's a bearing with ABEC 9 tolerance. We got them to fit everything in the bait casting world. We even got some spinning models now available in that XCR. But that is our showcase bearing. It's selling probably 2 to 1 of anything we've got. Our XS bearing, this is the XS. If you look at that bearing, you can see it's sealed. Get that out the glare for you. See how the cases are sealed?
Yeah.
That's a stainless steel seal on that bearing, and very, very popular for saltwater. So we got 2 other levels, the XP, which is another ABEC 9 quality bearing from Japan. It does not have the peak retainer, but it does. Now, another thing you need to know about ball bearings, Mike, is there is a measure of roundness of the ball with an S factor, okay? Like you start with let's start with a factory bearing. It probably has a S15, okay? But that's a stainless ball. A lot easier to get the tolerance correct with a stainless ball than it is ceramic. But we've got S15 in our very beginning bearing, the SS. It's a very, very economical way out if you want to put ceramics in your reels. But we've got all the way up to S30 tolerance, okay? That's the measure of roundness. S30 is about as high as it gets. So what that does is it lowers your noise level, gives you more distance, smoother, longer, quieter casts.
So what's the advantage from a stainless bearing to a ceramic?
I'm glad you asked, because that's the main thing people do. They're upgrading their reels. They're taking the stainless steel out. They're putting the ceramic in. What it does, it gives you a whole lot less friction. And, you know, I don't have a reel here to show you with line on it to show you the run time, but I can free spool a reel with ceramic bearings for up to 2 minutes. Where a factory reel, keep in mind that that factory bearing is packed in grease. First of all, it's a stainless steel bearing, so it's not very fast to begin with. And second of all, that grease really hinders the operation. And from a manufacturer standpoint, what we've got to understand is they're worried about warranty. They're worried about cost control. So they're not going to make that reel as fast as they can make it. They're going to make it withstand the elements. They're going to make it last a long time to get you out of that warranty period. Not that my bearings are not going to last. They are going to last. But the manufacturers are afraid to put ceramics in because they never know what's going to happen. These reels get immersed in salt water and everything else. And like anything, you immerse it in salt water, you're going to have rust. Well, if you got a bearing packed in grease, it's going to probably take a long time for that bearing to rust. So, but what it does is it hinders all the performance. And we get away from that. And most of them are bass fishermen anyway, so we don't have a lot of saltwater problems. We do have that peak retainer, which really helps in saltwater, and that SS bearing with the stainless seals, it helps in saltwater also. So our inshore fishermen, they really enjoy these bearings also.
Cool. So, and I know everybody out there that's watching this and going to watch this can probably relate that, you know, whatever brand bait casting reel that they've got, at one time or another, you're going to go make a cast with that reel, and you're going to hear that kind of whine, or that's the best word I can use to describe that. Your bearings don't do that.
Hey, that telltale sign that that bearing's going bad, it's usually a screeching noise.
Screech,
But,
yeah.
Now, keep in mind, ceramic bearings are slightly noisier because they're not encompassed in grease. So the sound gets out there. But what I like to tell people is, yeah, our bearings are noisier, but so is a race car. You know, with performance comes a little bit of noise.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when you go with the peak retainer and the XER, you really lower that noise level considerably, even with the ceramic variety of bearing.
Yeah. So how do I choose which type of bearing to put in, which level of bearing?
You know, that's something that many people ask. If you go on our website, it will explain the differences. Like if you go under each product category and read down into the body of the package or of the product, it'll tell you all the differences in the bearings. Okay. But to answer your question, a lot of our younger guys, you know, maybe fishing a Black Max or a reel that doesn't cost $39. They'll put our SS economy bearing in there. Keep in mind, it's what we started with. And a lot of people still love them today. That's all they'll use because it's been such a tried and true bearing. But if you want to bump that up a notch with performance and get that stainless case, you go to the XS. Then if you want to go to our two Japanese varieties, which would be the XP and the XER Ultra, that's when you're getting into the higher performance. And believe it or not, Mike, the cost is not that significant. Most people, when they do a reel, they're replacing a spool pack, okay? Keep in mind, the spool is the most important thing you want running on ceramics. When you're doing a spool pack, you're only talking 2 or 3 bearings. But if you do a full tune, you know, you got a lot more bearings, as you can see right there. It's hard for me to get that centered for you. But when you get into the full tunes with XER, you know, you can get up to a $70 pack. But we've got packs starting out at $15. So we've got a price level for everybody. You know, I get some customers that want to do 20, 30 reels and they want a mid-level bearing. They don't want to spend that much money. Then I get some customers say, Scott, I want the best you got. Give me the XER. There's nothing else. I've got so many real repair companies going to XER now. And they're like, give me the XER. That's all I want. We've got them in Tennessee. I've got 30 dealers just in California and Texas alone. So, you know, we're spread out all over the place. Even got a place in Canada now selling our bearings.
That's awesome. And for a guy like me who's, you know, somewhat mechanically inclined, fairly easy to put them in. But, you know, how about somebody that's, you know, never taken a bait cast and reel apart in their life? Pretty easy to install.
You know, it is easy. We've got 10-year-olds doing this stuff. You know, they love it. If you go on the website, you'll see tutorials actually showing you a reel being torn apart and putting the bearings in. And to make that job a little easier, I'm glad you asked about that. I'm going to come up here and show you this. A lot of people are concerned about taking the spool bearing. Okay, see that bearing right there on that shaft? We've got a tool now that we had designed. And if you look, it's threaded on both ends. You take this out, turn it over, put the blunt end down, and you can take that spool, set the tool on it. See what I got there? Turn this down, just turn it, and it'll push that pin right out. I've got it backwards. It'll push that pin right out into that cup. See that cup?
Yep.
There we go. Left is right and right is left. But it'll push that pin into that cup so you don't lose anything, and it helps you out a bunch. We've got these in about 4 or 5 different colors. You'll see them on the website. Selling a ton of these things, Mike. So they're going to help you get those bearings replaced. Also, for the guys that want, everybody knows about MRP. This is MRP ceramic lubricant, okay? We've got that. We've got the MRP grease. Now, let me tell you about MRP. MRP is magnetic repulsion polarity lubricant, okay? It acts like, you ever taken a magnet and put 2 north poles together, how they repel each other? That's what this does with friction. It's super thin. It's about the same viscosity of gasoline. So it's super, super thin. You can put it on a regular bearing. It'll make it absolutely fly. But for ceramic bearings, you got to use this lightweight MRP. But you'll see all this. You'll see all the picks, the tweezers. We've got tons of everything to help you get your reels tuned. And we put all those tools on there at a very affordable price because we know you're only going to buy them once and you're going to tune your whole arsenal. If you do one reel, you're going to do every reel you have. That's right. The experience that we've had with customers in the past. And they love it. You know, it's something fun to do, especially the off season. Some of these guys are in ice over and they're sitting there just itching to get out there fishing, and the best thing they can do is play with their equipment, you know, and get it all tuned up and ready.
And we're getting to that. I mean, it's still you know, here at the very beginning of November, and it's still nice out here in Tennessee. I know it's nice there in South Carolina, but there's some guys that are starting to get in that deep freeze, so they're going to want some projects to do here pretty soon.
It was almost 80 degrees here today. I've got a little cabin out in the woods I've been working on, a little hunting cabin. And I was out there in shorts, still sweating. So,
yeah,
I don't want to make everybody jealous out there, but South Carolina, great weather.
Exactly. So I know, changing gears here just for a moment. The last time I physically saw you, you had a new product that you were just releasing, a handle that was really cool. And I want you to show that to everybody now.
Well, we got 2 now, Mike. Okay, so they'll come packaged in the spool speed package. And I actually went to Korea and designed this handle. Okay, this is our 110 millimeter spool speed handle. And if you take a look at it, you'll see it's thick. It's designed right. It's got triple butted stems. If you take a look at that stem right there, okay. That's the part that breaks out of these carbon handles, the backside. We triple butted it, so we made it ultra thick. We've got spool speed bearings in our handle, and these paddles, the density of this foam was tuned. So it feels like cork. You know, we don't want a spongy grip when we're fishing. We want something firm so we can feel that bite. And the density of this EVA is that of cork, yet it lasts. Cork just has a problem, you know, lasting. And cork chips off and has problems. This EVA, it never has problems. We've got 14 professional fishermen using this handle, okay? And they're calling me all the time, getting more. If you take a look at the center here, if I can slide this out, you see that stainless washer? Watch. I'm going to pop that out. Okay. Now you can just see the cavity that fits in. So this has been recessed, the center, and this stainless washer fits right in there in that cavity. And that's what you're tightening your nut against. So you're not tightening up against carbon. Carbon is compressible. When you put that washer under there, it makes sure that that handle stays on securely. You'll never have a problem with it. Now, getting to another product, which is really cool. I got to show you this. We got a lot of swim bait guys, and they wanted a big handle. Okay. 120 millimeters. This does have the spool speed bearings in it. This has the billet. I mean, you can just see how long that spins. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's just, very quiet, no play. Okay. You can take that handle and try to move it back and forth. There's zero tolerance. They are tuned. They are triple butted. They're 120 millimeter. So you can put this on any size bass reel you got, but it's going to give you that leverage. No, it doesn't change your gear ratio. So many people ask me that. Scott, does putting that long handle change my gear ratio? It doesn't matter if your handle's a mile long. One revolution is one revolution.
Right.
So what it does is it gives you leverage. It gives you power.
Yeah. And I'm sure at one time or another, we've all had a handle that you go ahead and make a cast and go crank the handle over, and the handle's not turning.
Oh, yeah, we've all had that. And we've all stepped on them on the boat and bent them and problems. But we got them for you guys that want to color key your stuff. I don't know how many viewers we got that like to do that. I personally do. I like to look good. I like to fish good. I like to feel good. And if I look good, I feel good. So we got all the colors to match all your reels and everything. So that's a nice product. Everybody's been asking about that 120. We finally got it. It takes a long time to design these things, guys. If we're going to put a product on the market, I'm going to warranty it forever. Okay. So you deal with spool speed, you got a forever guarantee. If you break my handle, I'm going to cover it. I'd like you to be honest and tell me you stepped on it, but no matter what, we're there for you. We're going to stand behind it. Yeah. And we stand behind our tools. We stand behind our bearings. If you ever have a problem with one of my bearings, there's going to be a no question asked replacement policy.
Yeah. And the very last thing, which I didn't know until I actually just looked at your website here just a little bit. You've got something else really exciting that you want to share with us.
Yes, I do. Guys, this year we made a little deal with Halo, and we're going to have these at all the shows this year. I just dropped some line. But we're going to have these reels. These are the Halo Arrow. Okay, these are 7-to-1. Get it over here where you can see it. 7-to-1 gear ratio, and they're all tuned with spool high-speed bearings. We've got them left, right. We've got them black and red. We've got them silver and red. We've even got, let me show you this one. We've got the Halo in the orange, and we've got it in the green, mean green. So, and we've got thousands of these reels. So it doesn't matter if you want one or you want 20. We got them. We're going to give you a deal on them. We're going to have them at the shows. We do have them on the website. So, the retail price on these is going to surprise you. It's just a tad bit over $100.
That's awesome.
It's kind of hard to
beat bearings in it. Yeah.
Now, one other thing we are a ball six. A lot of people call that ball sacks, but it's ball six. Okay. Tarantula line. This is a European line. We've got every pound. It's very thin for its pound rating. If you want 15-pound test, order the 17. If you want 10, order the 8. But this is on the website too. And this is a big old spool, man. This is 1,100 yards. We got them on there for $29. Kind of hard to beat with a line that quality. So cool. We've got some new stuff this year. We're going to have them at all the shows. We're going to be at just about every show. We're going to be all over the place. So We're
including
looking
East,
forward to a
including
really big year.
East Tennessee Fishing Show coming up here in January.
The East Tennessee with Sheila that's the best show. That's the world's greatest fishing show. We go to the Classic. We go to the MLF Red Crest. We go everywhere. But me and my wife have more fun with Sheila, and the professionalism that Sheila has at those shows. Man, you pull your trailer up and you got 10 guys unloading you and taking it to your booth. Every show should be run like that. But all I can tell you, she does a phenomenal job. We love her to death. We've been out to eat with her and Curtis, and they're just wonderful people.
Yeah. And we're up against the commercial break, but I want you to be able to get your website in too, so people can know where to find you. I'm going to have producer Ray post everything in the comments section too, so people can see it and click on it and get to your site. But give us a shout out right there.
Hey, spoolspeed.com. It's the easiest one to remember. SPOOLSPEED.com. And you can go on that website, get whatever you want. We'll take good care of you guys. I'm going to give everybody a discount code, SPOOL15 with a capital S. 15% discount for watching it on the Mike Delvisco Outdoor Show.
Awesome. I can't wait to see you in January. It's coming up, only a couple more months away, 2.5 months. And we'll be right back there in Knoxville, Tennessee. Scott, always a pleasure to have you on with us. Can't wait to see all the new stuff you've got in January.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you guys too. And it's around the corner, like you say. It's right there.
Awesome. We will be right back with our next guest here at the Outdoor Showcase. There's Scott from Spool High Speed Bearings. I'm Mike Delvisco. We will be right back. Outdoor Showcase. If you want to watch any past episode of the Outdoor Showcase, and you've got Amazon or Roku, simply just go on to either one of those devices, download our channel app, and you can watch 24/7 all past episodes from day one to present. This episode will appear there shortly after it airs live on social media. So can't be any easier than that. Download it, watch it. And right now we got my buddy who I've not physically seen him for a while, but we've talked on the phone quite a bit, and through the magic of media, we got each other here on each side of the screen. Dano, I've known you for an awful long time in multiple different facets of things that you do in the fishing industry. You're a legend. You've been doing this stuff forever. I think the first time that I ever met you might have been a Bassmaster University event that I was speaking in 100 years ago, someplace traveling around the country. But great to have you on here and talk about Bucks Island, who's going to be one of our featured exhibitors there at the Alabama Fishing Show and Expo coming up here in March. And we'll chat about other things you got going on too.
Well, Mike, as always, we appreciate being included in something like this from everybody here at the Bucks Island family. Having a show here in Gadsden at our venue, and with a show that's the quality of what you and Sheila put together with that East Tennessee Fishing Show, which is, in my opinion, and I've seen a million of them across the country, it's the best fishing only show that I've seen outside of a Bassmaster Classic. I'll be 100% honest with you. It's an amazing place to be, and I look forward to it every year. I do have to take, a little bit of umbrage with something though, is it hasn't been that long. I know I've got the white beard going here, but actually the first place that we met was when I worked for the PAA, when you were a PAA pro.
Yeah.
Right before that, we were involved in all of that TV show starting up. And I have respected you for a long time. You've been with Partners forever. You're a tremendous, tremendous representative of all the people that you work with. You're really good at what you do, and I respect you a ton, and know that when you're involved in something like this, it means something.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm really looking forward. Sheila and I have been talking about doing another show somewhere. And I don't have, my role is fairly small. I work with all the seminar guys because I know them all and do seminars at the show too and help Sheila out, but with some of the media and MC the events and stuff. She's really, to think about what she's done in Knoxville in, I guess, 10 or 12 years, pretty phenomenal that it's turned into the show that it has. It's always been great, but
Yeah.
it is like you said, the biggest collection of probably custom tackle manufacturers that there is. I don't know of another show that, and I speak at a ton of them too. I don't see, some of these vendors come to this show only, and it's like, this is their whole year. They bank their whole year on the show, and it works out really good for them.
Well, it's funny, I moved here from California in 2014 to, the Gadsden, Alabama area, and I'm still there. I'm in Southside where Bucks Island is at. But when I moved here, I had 2 balsa baits, 2 Strike King custom shop flat sides that were sent to me by accident in an order, which were made at the time by PH Custom Lures. But now I have 3 or 4 boxes of flat sides that are probably worth close to $1,000 a piece. Because once you get here and you start realizing what you need to be able to do with those flat sides and just balsa baits in general, we didn't really have too many areas that you could do that with in California. Now it's one of the things that I make sure is in the boat pretty much year round. And that show is an amazing place to look at some of that stuff. And I have myself bought a few there when I've gone there to work. And my wife always gets upset with me because I go to work and I'm spending money. I mean, how does that work?
Yeah.
But I believe in supporting the community, and that's what it is. I'm investing in my community. I'm trying to make sure it's all altruistic, and that's what it's for. Right.
Yeah. I remember one year, Scroggins and Grigsby, who are usually there at the show all the time.
Yeah.
And, Terry cannot resist buying baits when
Nope.
he's there. Jaw Jacker, who's one of the premier, Rob Cochran, one of the premier balsa bait makers that there is anywhere, not just Tennessee. And Shaw used to always go up there and says, "I see what you got hanging up here on the wall, but I want to see what's under the table." And Rob would pull stuff out, and both Sean and Terry would have bags and bags full of lures, walking out of that show. But it's a great venue, and I can't wait to bring it to Gadsden. Getting back to my earlier statement, Sheila and I were talking about, it just came up in conversation. What do you think about doing another show? Well, where do we do it? We wanted to do something that was 3 to 4 hours away from Knoxville, something similar in geographics, lakes around, great bass fishing community. And it ended up being, from Hugh Stump there in Greater Gadsden Tourism, says, "Hey, we have a brand new facility here at the venue." Excuse me. And I went and looked at it last October, and of course I'd fished multiple events there before.
Oh yeah.
Great place to have
You filmed here before too, if I remember right.
Yes. Yeah. We had a PAA tour event there years ago too. Done tons of filming there. It's just, it's one of my favorite lakes. I almost moved there too. And I can't wait to go back.
My wife and I and the kids, we love it here. We've made family here. The people at Bucks Island have become family. My marketing partner here, Michael Wildman at Bucks Island, has become a very good friend and someone that and Bucks Island invested in this to be able to be a big part of it. Obviously, it's a business move as well, but it's also supporting of the community. And, Tony Lumpkin, who was a VP of sales at marketing at Mercury, who came back to take over this business from his dad, Buck, when it was time. Tony tells a story about, Dad, how did you learn your business sense? You only graduated from the 6th grade. And his dad looked at his son and said, "Son, I learned it in Sunday school." And he said, "Where do you learn business in Sunday school?" He said, "I learned that if you always treat people the way that you want to be treated, you'll never have a shortage of customers." And so investing in the fishing community by being a part of this event and help use our resources that we've worked hard to, as a team, to be able to develop for our own use to help promote this show, that's what we're going to do. So that's part of the reason why we're invested so heavily into it. That's what it is. That's why we're doing it. We're looking forward to seeing the community. We're going to show off our wares. We'll have our Skeeter, Falcon, and Bass Cat boats there, and we're going to have a full tackle with some kayak in the retail section over there as well. So we've maxed out our booth space, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Awesome. I think that's important too, having the tackle in there too, and the kayaks, because it seems like the last probably 2 or 3 years at East Tennessee, the kayak fishing has exploded. Of course, I'm sure you see it there.
It's massive.
How many people get into it and are going to get into it. I even bought kayaks this year. So and if I'm buying kayaks, then I'm on board too. So
I hear you. I got a quick funny, you brought up Terry Scroggins. I got a funny Terry Scroggins story for you that Terry talking about being a bait junkie and stuff. One of the first times I got to be around Terry after meeting him at covering elite events, but I was at him at a little bit of an extended length, and being at California, before the Elite Series came out there in 2007, a lot of those guys would sign up to work a show much like this show, do seminars and appearances at sponsors so that they could dovetail it with going to practice on Clear Lake or at the Delta where they were going to be. And if you know California, you know the name Bobby Barrick, you know the brand Snag Proof. Bobby Barrick is the frog master. He's a dear friend. He's been here. He makes an amazing frog, and the West knows it. They love it. But if you've ever been around pro fishing, what's probably the top frog that ever really got adopted was the Spro bronze eye frog that Dean Rojas was behind in the company at Spro. Well, the West Coast had its, we didn't like the hook gap. We didn't like the way that the thing worked. And you guys gathered around Terry, who was also standing there with Russ Lane at the time, who traveled with him. And they were all giving their, oh man, that's Spro, the gap, the bat is, it's too narrow. You can't get enough. There's not enough hook gap. It just, it doesn't, it's too hard. It's not. And Terry being Terry looked at him and goes, you know what? You're right. That is too hard, and I don't like that hook gap either. In fact, that frog only does one thing well. You know what that is? They said, what? They should catch his big fish. Other than that, it's a really big piece of crap. And Terry just has a way of making everybody go, okay. But you brought up Terry Scroggins. That's one of my favorite Scroggins stories, and I think only one writer saw it, and it was me, so I get to remember that one and share that story. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Maybe we can get him to come to Alabama too. I'm still working. I'm kind of working my way towards Alabama. We're kind of finalizing our speakers now that we know schedules with who's coming to Tennessee. And the cool thing about Tennessee show is that people just show up. I know who usually who my speakers will be, and of course being a multi species event, I've got to have catfish guys, striper guys, crappie guys.
Absolutely.
I do the sonar stuff there, and then we've got 4 or 5 bass guys that'll come in and do bass fishing seminars. But then aside from those 5 guys, Fritz will show up, and Scroggins will show up, and Ott will show up, and Edward Evers he just happened to be passing by Knoxville. He's going to stop in the show. So it's like all of a sudden there's like 20 or 30 tour guys that are just hanging around the show, hanging out at the booths, even if they're not doing seminars. And I suspect that a lot of it is going to be the same for Alabama too.
Yeah, I would think so. It's close enough to Gunnersville. Unfortunately, it's right at the same time as the Red Crest show. So some of those guys that are in Red Crest won't be able to be there that week. And that's some, otherwise you might see a Justin Lucas or some of those guys that would show up to be able to be at the show like that. Even if they weren't speaking, but some of those Tackle Warehouse Invitational guys, Bassmaster Opens guys, of course the Elite Series guys, they'll be around as well. I'm looking forward to seeing and just seeing how the public responds to them again. And I just know that show in Tennessee, it is without a doubt the best fishing show I've ever seen outside of a Bassmaster Classic. And I look forward to going to it every day. I really do.
Yeah.
And I guess I have to admit a little bit of selfishness to want to see Bucks Island in it, because I just want us to be there and be able to walk in that show and be able to do everything that I want to do. as well, and talk to the customers while we're doing it.
Yeah, you were one of the first ones, when we were going to have it there in Gadsden. You might have even been the first one that I called. And I didn't know your relationship with Bucks Island at the time. And then all of a sudden, the next couple of days, okay, you guys were like first to get signed up for this thing. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, no, we love being first.
Yeah.
Because it means we've taken care of our customers. That's what it means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we really, really, really are excited about this show.
Yeah. And the outside element too, that's going to be, something that's a little different for a show. I've been to, different events, out on the coast where, you have an in the water boat show and, like Charleston and Savannah and places like that. Wilmington comes to mind too, but
never mind Miami.
Yeah.
The Miami boat show.
I haven't been to that one, but
I haven't either,
but having the landing right there and what everybody in town did with the landing over the years, with that river walk and so close proximity to the venue now.
Well, and the great thing is let's say we all decide to do boat demos, whether it's the individual dealer or whether it's the show, you can come out of that venue, turn left and walk about 120 yards. And there's a ramp right there that takes you to the boardwalk where the boats can be tied up and a guy can go do his demos and never have to leave the 5 mile an hour, the no wake zone there of the bridges. You can just run down and turn around and run back.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about guys running up and down the river and stuff, creating wakes and, things like that. So that's something Sheila's still working out. I'm sure we'll have more information on that as we get going, but just another exciting element. That's something that's possible for that venue.
And Gadsden is a great town with some really good restaurants, some great events to happen and just experiences here in Gadsden. It's a small town, but Broad Street is excellent for food. We've got Blackstone Pub and Eatery. We've got the Rail Public House. We've got steakhouses there. We've got the Harp and Clover, which is an Irish pub. We've got Rock and Roll Sushi. For those of you guys that love sushi, it's one of my favorite sushi places in the country. And I don't eat fish unless it's sushi, so that's really good. Although Mike McClellan made me some walleye when we were up in Minnesota that I actually liked.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That was a lot different than I expected. And there's no walleye around here, but there's good Mexican restaurants. I mean, it's a wonderful place to be.
Yeah. So quick story on Gadsden. The first time I think I ever went there, and you may remember this event, when Yamamoto started their own tournaments.
Oh yeah.
Like the Snag Proof Open and the Strike.
Yeah.
So Yamamoto did one.
I do remember that.
Back in the early 90s.
Yep.
It was a long time ago. And they brought some of I was one of two guys in the whole country that was actually even on the Yamamoto team back then because I didn't really have one.
Right.
And we did one at Gadsden. And I remember being there at the landing and going, man, it's like, where do you even go eat around? There was no restaurants. I think there was a fast food place a mile down the road. There was nothing there in that town. To see how it's grown.
Well, if you want to eat on the water, there's places to do that too. Down by the bridge, there's down by the bridges below, down in Southside, there's Little Bridge Marina. Now Blackstone Pub and Eatery has a dock over there. They've got a place. And then if you're hungry for breakfast while you're on the water, you can pull up to a Jack's and you can hit a button up on a walkway and you can order. They bring it out to you.
Yeah,
so
I've done that.
It's kind of a unique thing. I've done that for a video for Gadsden Area Tourism before I was ordered when I got up to the dock. I love this community. The people around here love this community. We're looking forward to showing it off.
Awesome. We're actually almost, these segments go by so fast.
Yeah.
And especially talking to somebody like yourself, who's just a wealth of information, it goes by even quicker. But
well, you know what they say, Mike, if you can't dazzle them with your knowledge, you have to baffle them with your BS. You pick which one I was doing.
Yeah, that's right. So if people want to find out a little bit more, now you're going to have tackle, you're going to have kayaks, you're going to have boats there. So you're going to have everything.
Yes.
People want to check stuff out. What's the easiest way to go find Bucks Island?
BucksIsland.com. We have our used inventory, new inventory. We don't have parts listed there. We do have all of our service listed there, but you'll be able to look at our boat inventory. You can go from there, link to shopbucksisland.com, which is our retail space, which includes retail and some apparel and our loft tackle store inventory. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We've got a YouTube channel. We've done a lot that we believe in building the community. And so we've done a lot of social efforts towards being social. And that's kind of that's what we like to do. So I like to be a goofball at times. I've talked Michael into helping me make posts that you probably would never think what in the world is wrong with you? I've actually stood behind rods, made them look like jail cells, and said, "I'm in tackle jail," and watched the owner's granddaughters just start laughing at me when they saw it. I believe in having fun, and I've got a team around that feels the same way. So you're going to find everything is social. We're going to give you the best information, the best service, the right attention, and you can find all that stuff at bucksisland.com and Bucks Island social media channels.
Awesome. Can't wait to see you in March. I'm going to have to probably come out, beforehand. There's going to be at least a couple of trips, out there checking the venue out, just doing stuff. I want to get out in the water and go shoot some things too. So I'm sure we'll have some opportunity there to actually get together and get out in the boat a little bit too.
Well, I'm going to hold you to something then. And I know Michael's sitting here waiting for me to ask it. One of the things we like to do is what we call Bucks Island Live. We do a 2-hour, no practice. You get in my boat. We put you in front of the camera. I'm standing on the trolling motor. We fish for 2 hours, hope we catch something, but we talk. We share each other. Bucks Island Live. We've had as many as 30,000 people watching at one time. That was Clay Dyer. It's really, really extreme, but we'll take it. But Mike, we'd love to have you. And the next, after things cool, warm up a little bit in February, maybe.
Yep.
Before the show, we'll have you come out and do a Bucks Island Live with us. How's that?
Let's do it.
Love it.
Sounds good. We are at the end of another show. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this show, I think we're going to do four shows in December. So be looking for that. Check out social media, the Outdoor Showcase on Facebook. And then, as always, Amazon and Roku app, the Outdoor Showcase. Check it out. I'm Mike Delvisco. That's Dan O'Sullivan, Bucks Island. We will see you next time. See you then.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you.
You got it.
Catch the best in outdoor products every month on the Outdoor Showcase. Hosts Sheila Bunch and Mike Delvisco bring you new, unique, and awesome products for the outdoors, featuring guests and segments. Whether you fish, boat, camp, or just love the outdoors, there's always something for everyone. We are live the last Thursday of every month, available on Fire TV and Roku. For more info or to have your product showcased, visit theoutdoorshowcase.com. We'll see you in the great outdoors.